My name is Tyler Hagel, and I'm a current member of the RCMP, currently stationed on the Ponoka Freeway Unit in Ponoka, Alberta, along Highway 2. I've been a member for close to eternity, but in reality, it's been 15 years as a regular member, and I did 4 years before I joined as a volunteer and local detachment guard. We go out onto Highway 2 between Edmonton and Calgary, which is the busiest stretch of highway in the province, at least for traffic volume. And we enforce traffic laws, so we're out there looking for speeding, distracted drivers. We do a lot of MAS, so mandatory alcohol screening, looking for impaired drivers. Any collision that comes in, we investigate that. Of course, a big thing with being traffic services is you need to know the equipment and the instruments that we're using. So you have to know that instrument or what you're doing very well. There's over 100 pages of set restrictions and case law that we have to follow, which if you actually look through the criminal code, there's more case law and annotations in it than there are for all of your homicides, treason, and those high capital crimes. And we have to operate within very tight time restrictions. We have, like for one instance, if you're at a collision scene alone, how do you process the scene and follow the suspected driver to the hospital? Because you have to keep continuity of that. You've got to find your evidence, one, to satisfy who the driver was, to make sure nobody else is in the vehicle, but then you have to take it a step further to come up with a reasonable suspicion that that driver had alcohol in his body. You have to stop and maybe contact a judge to get your warrant, to get the blood. If it's a demand, you still have to make sure that everything is satisfied. Demands are read, you're confident that they understand, you have to get doctors involved. A lot of this can end up being done by yourself unless somebody's there. People don't slow down, people don't take the lanes. Traffic enforcement's dangerous. A lot of it's just other motorists. Most people behind the wheel, even if they've got warrants or have issues, they've stopped, and a lot of it can be discussed, talked down, dealt with, but you've got to always check your shoulder and make sure that a passing motorist doesn't clip you and smoke you with a mirror. So that's probably one of the biggest dangers out there. I'm an avid curler, so even when I was in Fort McMurray, we had an RCMP team there. We did a men's bonspiel there, and I got a group from the watch to go curl in it and start to get to know some members of the community. And that started to lead to a few people like with some ride-alongs and answering questions. It's a big difference when you go to a smaller community though, because you are now, in essence, a major part of that community. So when I was in Rimbey, I sat on the board of directors for the co-op, but you're just part of the community. So going into different businesses, making yourself known, which is, in my humble opinion, very, very important. You need to have people outside of work and your immediate coworkers to kind of remember what normal life is like, to have that contact with some semblance of normality. You don't think about how it can jade a person when you're always dealing with the negative, when you're always dealing with the bad. It does affect you. And if you're considering this profession, you need to have avenues to deal with it. You need to have some hobbies. You need to have people outside of work. And if you can develop those relationships and friendships, they can last a long time.